iron.
What a dope scare, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's your boy Joel, and I'm here with Scotty, Lowe's. We got a special co-host with us today. Give it up for our boy Cannabis Cowboy.
What it do? And to my right, we got the myth, the legend, the man himself, a Sacramento native, the man that's been keeping the world lit, including the Sacramento Beam, Bench Plug Benny.
Hey, how you guys doing? Yes, sir. Hell yeah. Appreciate you coming on, my boy.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, bro.
I know we were talking like a couple weeks back about it. So I appreciate you having like a speedy response, getting out here so quickly and getting up on the show.
Flying out
No,
here.
literally.
Yeah, for real.
With the bong too.
Yeah,
Tell me about that bong.
Man,
I
that
like
bong
it,
has
Press.
seen more TSA agents than an airport manager, bro.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's hella funny.
bro, just used to it, man. Hopping on a plane, having to go see people I fuck with, and love. So it's cool.
Yeah, that was my first question. I know we know a little about you, but tell us about yourself. Tell the people like what you're upcoming in the cannabis industry, like what you're doing now, and like who you're fucking with, grow pros and whatnot.
Yeah, man. Grew up out here, born and raised my whole life. Parents are from Sacramento. Grew up right here. And then our families actually grew up together, growing weed, doing
Good
a
old
bunch of
Cannabis
stuff.
Cowboy.
In the back,
Yeah.
back when it was.
Yes, sir.
Just off of the cuff, and it was a real community, bro. So that's one thing I think, has really been lost, in this plant is like people really coming together and becoming family off of this plant, bro. So like we're second generation, messing with each other and man, so yeah, we grew up all through here, throwing up grows up to the hill, Berry Creek, Concal, all through Butte County. So yeah, it's been fun, man.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I could definitely say we got the atmosphere at the grow.
Yeah.
It's like a brotherhood for real.
Yeah,
That's just
man.
real as fuck.
No, it's supposed to be, bro. I remember like back in the day, the first dude to drop his prices on the hill, got fucked up or got made fun of, and so, everybody was talking, and now it's just a race to the bottom, bro. So
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, it's sad what the industry has kind of become like with the pricing and just like quality and all that shit right now. I'm on that front line, so I see it and like
Yeah.
I just see other bags. I see like where people are at right now, like price wise, and it's the race to the bottom's real as fuck, bro.
man,
Let me get a box for $7. I'm just like, yeah, you can get out. Like that's
bro. And let's not even get started in Oklahoma, bro. You can grab them for $5 all day. Like you have,
boxes.
yeah, indoor boxes.
Gotta go
So
to
when we going out
Oklahoma.
to Oklahoma,
50K, you go fill a
Isn't
box.
like land and electricity a little cheaper out there?
Exactly. So that's the problem, is like when
cost
these
to produce.
yeah, bro, a third of the price in kilowatt price, you're probably at like 10, 11 cents per kilowatt out there. Minimum wage is like, still $12 or whatever.
And you get to see that data like real time and like probably like on sheet and shit, like with Grow Pros, obviously, right?
Bro, cost per pound goes crazy, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's tracking all the metrics. Our big cousin was on us our whole life yelling at us.
Yeah.
Bro, we were the only ones back in the day I knew that had spreadsheets. Bro, even back to GH, we had GH spreadsheets. We used to have to walk in there, track stretch, PPFD, back when
Yeah,
nobody was
just data
doing it. I
tracking
felt
already.
like, yeah, bro.
That's fire,
yeah.
bro. That's
Who is
fire.
tracking VPD in the garage? You know?
That's what's up.
Hell yeah. No, that's solid, dude. That's real as shit. You want to go? Anyone?
So how'd you get put on with GoPros?
Man, honestly, I moved from Oklahoma to LA to go link up with our cousin Derek at Planta. And so, I was over there and then I got offered an opportunity by John, like really I couldn't turn down.
Yeah.
Got Big Cuz's blessing and then really just went over there and learned the equipment side and fell in love with, really just being a lighting nerd.
Yeah.
I always feel like as a cultivator, I feel like this is martial arts, like you guys are, to be a cultivator, you have to be so well-rounded from IPM to fertigation to this to that, right? Like there's so many different levels and areas of knowledge of which you can, like learn and just get lost in. And then so it was nice for me to kind of be able to take a step back and then just become an expert in one lane. So like that's why it was cool.
That's clean. Yeah, no, I can like say like the first, like after meeting you and talking and whatnot and like seeing your social media, like the first thing I took from it was like the charisma and just like almost like the like influencer type videos you be making. Like that's what hit me. Like where do you get that drive from? Because I fuck with it. Like I like that.
Honestly, back in the day, we used to be making these videos on like Snap, and it was really just to try to move bags, bro. And our cousins used to yell at us for like posting anything on Snap or Instagram.
No face, no case, bro. What are you doing?
What are you doing posting the spot? Like, bro,
Stop posting shit.
it's a 6 lighter in the garage. Come, But like back in those days, like like pounds are $3K, $3,500, and you could eat off 2 spare bedrooms and a fucking 6 to 8 lighter in your garage. And so that was like kind of where it all started, bro. It was like posting on Instagram back in the day, like, and then having those pictures, bro, and finally putting it all together, bro. As I saw like the marketing really just push like cookies and stuff. It was like the story that was told,
Yeah, I respect it.
How many times do you have to like redo it before you post shit?
Man, a lot. It depends, bro. It depends on like the product and the day, to be honest, just like anything. Like sometimes I could walk in there and just like, it's just like a show, and I treat it just like a show and go kill it one take like I'm talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Other times, as soon as that camera gets there, it's like, oh, there's 4 or 5 takes or.
Yeah.
We know about that.
Do you know which one of your videos has the most views?
Man, probably one of the Under Canopy videos that we ran some marketing promo on. And we're just talking about that, how hard it is to market in this industry, man.
Yeah.
And like our product, bro, you guys, like we don't even have plants in half of our videos. Like they're just product videos of us in the office.
Yeah.
And we have a hard time pushing it just because of like words that are used and the algorithm catching it,
Damn.
And, bro.
For your tomatoes.
Yeah, for your tomatoes,
What you could use them for? I mean,
1000%, bro,
That's crazy because I feel like I'm like riding that fine line right now where like I'm like just keeping
be
it
cool,
away,
you know?
Yeah. I don't even want to go any higher because I'm scared for that. Like, damn, I feel it.
And then you see like the last like couple months, I started posting like a lot more grow stuff because it's like I started getting shadow banned just posting equipment.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, man, if we're gonna get shadow banned posting equipment, we sat down with our team and we were like,
Going all out.
yeah, we might as well go all
Let's
out.
get in the garden.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
we're already not popping up on search, and this like people are getting deleted that have no cannabis on their whole account at all. There's some people that are losing like side pages that aren't even affiliated. And so we were just like, man, if we're already riding this line, we might as well be 10 toes in, and so we've been pushing a lot more grow stuff, and honestly, it's been promising.
So just tell us like about Grow Pros, like the solutions or like products you guys offer. I know we're all aware, but like again, I know we got the Under Canopy. You guys are hot on those right now. Mm-hmm. We got the what's the model that we're running right now in our R&D room?
I think you guys have the Model 2, the Reds, right?
No, the Phoenix.
Our actual
Phoenix, the overhead light.
Oh, you guys have spectral controllable Phoenixes, and then you have the Model 2, the Reds, and man, we're out of the whole equipment industry. I feel like we are the most complete with a catalog. Everybody else is just a benching company. They're just a lighting company, just an Under Canopy company, right? And what I like to say, there's 2 types of companies in the industry. You have Chinese companies that don't know what's going on, right? They've never grown cannabis in their life. They see what's being made out there and they ramp up production. Usually missing pieces, no warranty, and they're one-offs. Something breaks, 8 to 12 week lead times, all of that, right? Then you have American companies that come from the industry, and but there's 5 Chinese middlemen. And then you have us, right? So like I'm 2nd generation cultivator. Come from the industry. I'm running product development with our VP Chuck and our engineering team. We control all of our manufacturing over in China, and they are strictly like making only our products. So we own all of our stainless steel molding. We own all of our plastic molding, and so we're direct to consumer, a lot of distributor routes, so it's nice. And so dealing with it, bro, like actually being able to control your manufacturer is like just a flexibility that a lot of companies don't have. Like we've been able to drop 4 models of that Under Canopy this year, bro. You see other companies that have been in the Under Canopy industry for the last 2 years since they dropped, and for the last 2 years, and they haven't dropped another model. They haven't changed their design
like
at all. They have no RJ data cord still, or they're still made out of plastic, or all of these things. They still can't control spectrum, And so we've been able to drop 4 models, throughout the 1 year, and really take over the space. And like I said, that's our foot in the door. Really, that's our smallest product. We do overhead lighting and we do benching as well. So we started off as an overhead lighting company. My CEO, John, he was in like the commercial space of the LED world before. He was the CEO and the owner of a company called Porter. And then so he stepped down, sold his shares of that, and then started Grow Pros.
Is that the cutting edge fella as well?
No, that's Uncle John.
Okay.
That's our spiritual uncle right there. Shout out Uncle John. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's just that's
The
just
real
an
OG.
That's an OG.
That sugaree, bro.
Man, that's
that sugaree
bro.
goes
That's
back.
just an amazing
Stand
man,
by
bro.
it.
I'll never say one negative thing about Uncle John, bro, ever. That guy will text you happy summer solstice, you know?
Yeah.
Like literally, he'll text, hey Ben, and it's a personal, it's not just a message you forwarded out.
Yeah.
Hey Ben, I hope everything's going well with you out in Oklahoma. I had you on my mind last week. Remind me to call you about project.
Yeah.
By the way, happy summer solstice.
That's all.
And I'm like, bro, like you're the most amazing guy ever. Like, you know?
I need a friend like Uncle John, bro.
Bro. And he's the only guy, like Uncle John tangent, but he's the only guy from like coming from the 80s, you know, moving into this generation where everything's like HPLC chromatography stuff, and he understands it like to the highest level of chemistry
Yeah.
from like starting
Okay.
back then, and
Most definitely.
literally grew with the industry and pushed it forward, bro. He sold, you know, some of the first 3 parts out. Yeah, the guy's dope.
Cutting edge goes back. Like that's a solid brand for sure.
Yeah, man. I met that guy, and he stuck by me and Sean for a long time, you know, and always been there for us.
It's dope. It's dope.
But yeah, man. Back to GrowPro. So yeah, John sold his equity in Porter. He started GrowPros, grabbed a bunch of industry experts, and then he locked down a manufacturer. And honestly, you know, he built the company on our first 2 series of lights, and man, he learned a lot about innovation, you know. And then there's nobody in the lighting industry, like, and I'll tell you straight up, there's nobody in the lighting industry that works as hard as my boss and literally like can innovate that well.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it, I've been on your guys' end of it, having to deal with RMAs, having to deal with this.
Yeah.
And bro, like when something happens, he'll come up with a new design. He's a data guru, being able to put everything together. So like when it comes to the product aspect, like I just know that side's done and handled.
Yeah.
Right. So then it's my job to figure out what is the, you know, what are you guys asking for? What do we need? Now it's the fun part. I get to call my brother every night and be like, yo, what are your complaints? What is this? What is that? What could I make for you to make your life easier?
Most definitely.
You know, and then I get to travel the country and talk to these guys. And then they're like, man, this is amazing. But back in the day when we really had those CMHs and we were finishing with high blues, that was some of the terpiest weed ever, this, that, and the third. And then so, you know, John gets to sit back and he learns everything. We have these product development meetings. We start running R&D on 437 nanometer Deep Blue Evo chips with some 395 nanometer UVA, you know, and start running finishing trials.
Yeah.
And this is a fun part because we've never got to do this for fun.
Yeah.
It's always been for $1, you know?
Most definitely.
And so that's where it's really cool to be on this side right now. And then all of our benching, bro, like we're taking everybody over. We're close to $10 a square foot cheaper than everybody. And they are just stainless. I mean, they're coated aluminum or coated steel, right? And then we're stainless steel. So I like to say it's like your wife. You wake up next to her and she's still gorgeous. No makeup, no nothing, you know?
That's right.
All these other benches and tables out there are caked up. You know, you start moving some shit in the room, you scratch it with a cart, and you wake up next to her and you're like, who is this? So
That's real. That's
yeah, man,
real.
it's been fun, bro, to be on the equipment side and, you know, get to help cultivators and plug my family in, figure out the rebates, make the energy companies pay for the lights. Like,
Yeah, you're learning hella like in a different area now.
bro, it's nice.
Expanding.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
like
nice.
being on the equipment side more, or would you rather be like back in the garden sometimes? You know,
I call him every night itching.
No.
So,
it's like send me some pigs.
man, it's crazy because me and Sean really been through it, bro. And since we were kids, we've been through it all, like ups and downs. And so he's seen me when I've been growing. He's seen us when we had farms. And then, you know, just because of cannabis and the way it is, bro, ups and downs. So you lose everything, spot gets hit, something gets robbed, you lose all your money, fucking shit doesn't happen, right? And then you don't grow, you know? You're in between spots for a couple months. Man, I don't know how many times he's called me. He's like, B, bro, you're a lot happier when you're growing. Like, you just got to get it somewhere.
It's something like I feel it within myself too. You're not yourself when you're not growing. You know, like
for
when you
sure.
don't got
Something's missing.
some plans up, like
Dead ass.
you're itching for it every day.
There's a void.
I don't think there's anything in my life that is as like aesthetically pleasing as like growing cannabis or growing any plant.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and it's like one of the most rewarding things out, bro. So like I love the cannabis, like the equipment side and being able to like help out all the homies.
Yeah.
And then so you know, I definitely miss being in there every day. But now the fun part is like being able to throw up spots with the family, you know, and now put people in positions to be like, hey, let's go throw up a 100 lighter. Let's do this together. Let's do that, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we don't have to worry about lights. We don't have to worry about benches. Like, I got them.
Hell yeah.
You know.
Tell us like some of the gardens you guys are in. I know you had like a Doja collaboration.
Hell yeah.
Like, way back, or not way back, but recently.
Yeah, no, that was one of our first ones actually. So, bro, shout out to Sacramento, bro.
Hey.
I like
Sacramento.
I like to say this is like
we keep it lit.
this is a crazy training ground, bro. It's like sometimes, and you guys, bro, like we don't realize how good we are until we leave Sac. Because we're surrounded by us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, I feel like I'm that guy in the NBA who's like, yo, there's 10 of me back home. Like, you don't even know.
You just pay them. Don't come back.
The price is right. Catch that flight.
I'm the small one. You know? Like, you should see my big brother type shit. Like, I feel like that was Sac, bro. And so, it like the Doja thing, like, bro, they were locked in with my family, and honestly, shout out to my boy Dom. Dom introduced me to Lance, to Doja Inc. Yeah, Dom introduced me to Doja first when I was out in Oklahoma, and then we started talking. And bro, I'm all the way out in Oklahoma, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I used to be out in Sacramento in this place called Del Paso Heights."
That's right.
And like, bro, I'm in Oklahoma. Nobody knows anything about Sacramento. Like, they think LA is a capital of California and Oklahoma, right? And then, and you're like, Del Paso, like, what the fuck? Being another guy from Sac. And so we start talking, and yeah, Doja started out there with him and Ryan, Doja Pack. And, bro, they blew up. So we kind of connected dots, realized there's a bunch of, like, familial connections. And then when I came on to Grow Pros, it was like just like it all came full circle. Now I'm on the equipment side, and I call up Lance, and I'm like, yo, how can I help you out? And he was like, man, I have this breeding project going on right now. I have this container that I want to build out with lights and benches and everything, and we're going to do some of the world's craziest collabs in there. And he was like, I would love for it to be all Grow Pros. And man, so yeah, we figured out a deal. We got him, you know, some exclusive pricing, and bro, outfitted the whole thing. And ever since then, bro, it's been amazing, bro, to see what they've been doing and how fast they've been growing and some of the strains that they've been pumping out of there.
What kind of gear they're running out there?
Oh, they're running some crazy global genetics collabs in there. And then they have a bunch of Z crosses, you know, as always.
That mouth coat.
Bro, that mouth, bro. Lance has some of the most exclusive, tastiest Z crosses out, bro. Like those terps.
These are the ones. That's what I got right here, actually, in these jars.
Shout out to Bevo. Shout out to Brian, man. He's bro, it's crazy. Like looking back and even seeing this shit, how big it's grown is like some of the people that are really pushing this industry forward are coming out of a garage or like a 5,000 square foot warehouse.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not these MSOs that people think it is.
Yeah.
It's these
big
guys.
corporate mids.
Bro. It's these guys like B, bro, like in the back doing some crazy mad scientist work.
For the love of the plant.
Bro, for the love. Stabilize, like gives me goosebumps, stabilizing it, running it a bunch of times, you know? And then, and then as we all know, bro, like R&D just costs money. It's just a loss of money, bro. It's a loss of space.
Yeah.
You know, and it takes years to actually get something. And, you know, just a risk of having popping beans and R&D and shit in your flower, you know.
We know how that goes. We're blessed when it comes to that. But, like, yeah, to be able to do that, like, to the full extent and, like, really, you know, throw it into your, like, your square footage, like, I would love to do that type of stuff.
And to just get to play, like I said, bro, we've never even got to play.
Yeah.
It's always been for the money, bro.
Yeah, for fun now.
Man, like when I have boys that are some of the best, like literally closet breeders out, bro, like that are just the homies like with a couple lights, right? But they know more about breeding from their closet and can talk like volumes over me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I honestly don't know that world.
You gotta take it to the F2 and then the 3, bro.
And I'm like, bro, I never got to play, man.
Yeah.
I never got to play.
Most definitely.
So you've been to a bunch of cities and a bunch of states, right?
Man,
Who,
I think
who do you think has the best weed?
Sacramento.
Sacramento. Yeah, that's right. You heard it here.
California. Bro, there's
Sacramento.
nothing like it in the fucking world, bro. And then you go to other places, bro, and you hear all the Sacramento strains. You hear everything.
Yeah.
And all the way down to, all the way from, you know, all these different sherbet cuts, you know. Sherbinsky went to Mariloma right here. you know, and from Sac, and all these different sherbet cuts, all these different lumpies cuts, the fritter cuts, and you're like, man, it just makes
fritter.
Crazy.
it just makes me proud.
She's
Bro.
strong.
Hey, she's a good breeding like stock. I feel.
Yes,
like
definitely.
she's sturdy, bro. I've seen her go through like.
We had some great
shit,
runs with
bro.
fritter.
Dude. Yeah, I got some crazy fritter runs. Like, she's the one for sure.
Was there any spots you pulled up to, like any places where you're like, oh, I'm surprised they low key got some dope over here, like,
Bro, so actually all of the East Coast I've been going to, I thought was gonna have a lot better weed than it did, and I was a little let down. And then you have to remember, it's like when California first legalized in 2019, all the spots I went to in the beginning of, like, you know, past 2018, January 1st, 2019 opened up. But all those spots you go to back then were MSO mids. And all the homies didn't make it out yet.
Yeah.
Right? All the licensing didn't happen yet.
Yeah.
Then you get taken to some backdoor spots and you're like, yo, this is it. Right? So that was New York for me, bro. My first day. 2 days I'm walking around. I got taken to a couple spots. I'm like, bro, it's
Looks
crazy.
good, bro.
Yeah, $100 million dumped into this. Bro, and then you get taken like, hey,
follow me.
bro. Shout out to Canna Ambulance. And
Okay.
yeah, the homie took me around, bro, and showed me some cool spots out there, bro. And I saw some stuff that I was blown away by. And I was like,
This recently in New
yeah,
York?
yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, I was out there for the CWCB show, and probably like July, and yeah, bro, it was a good time. I saw a lot of small boutique dope stuff out there, and Minnesota. Honestly, there's a lot of pockets of Minnesota that you would never think have fucking fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you have the Hmong population, you know, coming from Sac. Coming from Sac, we know what Hmongs are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whole trim team.
But you go to Oklahoma or you go somewhere else and no idea, right? The Hmong capitals are St. Paul and Sacramento, and it's the only other place outside of, like, you know, outside of running into Lance in Oklahoma that I've ever like talked to someone and they're like, oh, Del Paso Heights. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? They're like, yeah, my cousin lives right there.
Like, okay, breast certified.
Yeah, right by Jimmy's.
So, you feel like there's more competition in California to sell your products, or you think it's better to be in Oklahoma and all these other states?
No, there's a lot. Yeah, bro. So I think no matter what, you have to come to California to solidify a brand. No matter what. Because you go everywhere else. And then you see people still try to come back here and solidify a brand. If you you start here and you're able to make it through this market, then you can make it anywhere. You can make it, especially like Northern California, but you make it anywhere, bro. That's how I truly believe. Like, I've seen, if you could survive in this cutthroat ass market where everyone and their mom has packs,
Not for real.
you know, and you can survive out here, then I think you can survive anywhere. Like, it's like training with a weight vest on. Now I just cut your electricity a third. I just cut your labor a third. I just cut your rent a third.
Yeah.
You know, your lease isn't shit anymore, you know? So that's how I feel. If you can make it out here, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah,
That's real.
it really is a training ground.
Yeah, bro. Seriously, man. You guys are worth a lot of money, bro. Like, you start traveling around and you see these grows that are ran by some of these guys that have it's the degree guys that get me.
Yeah.
In theory, this is going to work.
Yeah, right.
Well, practically, bro, I've seen it happen. It's not going to work. Like,
Bro, that's a t-shirt. It's theory versus practical knowledge. Theoretical knowledge versus practical knowledge. And that's it right there. You know, and I've seen these guys a million times, like, do some of the most wild shit. I
feel like if you don't have that hands-on, like, you can go to like all the school you want, you can read all the books you want, but like, unless you don't have that hands-on and like the actual feel with the plant, like, don't mean shit.
For real. Jump in the field.
got to get
know?
in the garden to know the garden.
Yeah,
Like,
go touch that plant, bro. Like, she's waiting for you. Like,
She's gonna tell
she's
you
literally
what
waiting.
she wants.
Yeah, go talk to her real quick.
you know, I talked to a lot of my competition, like, and it's cool. This is like the cool side of this industry is like we go out and we're on the same circuit. So like, you guys think, like, you know, like a lot of people think we're just hating on each other on social media all day, but then we're at the bar drinking, same shit. I feel like it's like fucking the rap game, you know? It's like half of it's fake beef. But I'm talking to these guys, and like some of them stand and live by like 1,500, 1,600 ppfd, and you're like
Pushing.
I tell, but find me one grow with that's theoretical knowledge right there.
Yeah.
Oh, this doctor said this.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you find me one grow with over 400 lights that's running 1,500 ppfd indoor. Fix. Find it.
Those stems
Tell
gonna
me.
be purple as shit.
Find it. You're gonna end up getting like chlorosis.
Yeah.
The plant's gonna go. You know, you're gonna end up getting photo bleaching, all types of stuff. Crazy foxtailing.
Yeah.
New pistillation.
Mind you, they'll be double stacked too, so you just got like the plant right there next to the light.
More
You know?
CO2.
What do you think is like the perfect like spectrum, or not spectrum, but like wattage and just that sweet spot like for fire quality?
So that's a great question, and that's what we're working to right now. Is like we don't know. Nobody knows what optimal is.
Yeah.
Right. So right now, I try to just go with what we know is safe, right, and more cookie cutter. So 1,000 to 1,200 ppfd.
Yep.
And almost
Match
anybody
it with CO2.
matching with CO2, and almost so it's a triangle. Everybody forgets the triangle.
Yeah.
Right. So you have CO2, you have ppfd, and then you have EC/VWC, right? Yeah. And then it's they're all gonna affect each other. You change one, you have to change the other. Yeah. And people forget like, oh, let me change one variable and not change the other. And so like I think as on the equipment side, it's just like what can I give a client that is like safe, that I know I'm not gonna hand them something to just crash, right? And so 1,000 to 1,200 matching with CO2 is like really safe in most of these strains and most of these systems and setups, you know.
What are most like growers you guys have, like conventional growers, like Synganic guys, living soil cats? Like what do you guys have under your lights?
Oh, we have everything, man. So that's the fun part to see it too on this side. Is like I get to see all the different styles from I have deep water tissue culture grows. I have living soil on our rolling beds. We have rock wool. We have cocoa, literally, and then people arguing over everything in between and every different manufacturer of them.
Most definitely.
You know, and so getting to see it and just sit back and like walk through these places is really cool. And then seeing all the different problems, like, you know, how people have different HLVD protocols or different like cross-contamination protocols, and learning things from these guys is really cool, you know?
Yeah. Just don't hoe out your genetics.
And change your gloves.
No,
Stop
straight up.
using the
And
same
wash your blades.
scissors.
Yeah, wash your
Stop
blades.
using the same scissors for every mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
This fool knows I'm a fucking harp about that shit, dude. He'll have like a little rust on it, and like he'll hand them. I'm like, nah, throw it out. It's out. It's done. like, I'll order 4 more pairs right now. It's real as shit, bro. Like,
I want
you gotta
400
stay clean.
Onto the flower room.
Bro, I'm on 400 cuts, cut off all of these, and you're using the same scissors. You know?
yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Dead ass.
You know, and you're like, I wonder where this shit's coming from.
Do you guys only do like lights and benches? Or you guys got like scissors and dehues and like everything in between? Or?
We have ventilation, so we have we now have floor and wall fans. We have the ventilation systems for the double tiers. We have under canopies, and then overheads and benches.
Where do you get like all your data from? You guys got like this like cool R&D lab, or do you guys just like toss your products to growers, get feedback?
Yeah, that's a great question, bro. So, I mean, it goes back to the practical and the theoretical, right? So we have the practical side of like hands-on, and we have a lot of grows that we take over. We have like a 600 lighter in Oklahoma. Then we have partners like Doja. We have partners with Spaceship. My guy K, bro, shout out to my guy K. My guy K is he's over at Spaceship doing some of the coolest spectral practical stuff for us right now, and he's figuring out a lot of dynamic schedules because like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's out on photochromatic shifts and far red, like anything that's 730 and what it's able to do, from like the Emerson effect to photochromatic shifts, and just talking about different phytochrome shifts. And so figuring out those schedules of what's optimal and what's able to be used on the strains that's out, from whether it's 8 minutes before the overhead lights come on, or 15 minutes or 30 minutes before the overhead lights come on, how much am I ramping it? It's a lot of dynamic questions that we're figuring out on the practical side. And then on the theoretical side, we're partnered with the University of Minnesota right now.
Oh, damn.
And we're figuring out some stuff over there with Professor Nathan Ilands. And this guy got his PhD from Cornell, and he did his dissertation in far red. And so, like, if there's anybody in the whole, like, spectrum industry that, like, we could look to and be like, yo, how can we figure out and do some of these things? It's him.
Does the spectrum change like at sunrise, sunset? Or you guys just like dim the percentage or like?
No, that's a great question. Yeah. So
It's like full on treatment.
yeah, so right before your overhead lights come on and anything else is really like going to bring that plant awake and photosynthesize is just at 7:30. And that's supposed to signal the stomata to open, right? And then the theory's out on this, and these are the things that we're testing theoretically right now at the University of Minnesota with Professor Ilands, who actually did his dissertation again on far red. And this guy took cell sample sizes every fucking day for his paper. So he would grow all these different plants, hemp included, and then he would take cell sample sizing. And he saw that under far red, that the cell samples proliferated. They proliferated at a faster rate, and they also increased on sizing, right? But then at a certain point, it diminished quality. Gotcha. Right, so even on spinach and leafy greens, they saw it stop being so green, and it stopped it diminished the quality.
So it's like a throttle almost.
Right, and then so we started to think, and when I had this talk with him, I'm like, that's crazy, because this is what we found out practically, right, on the lighting side. So with too much far red, up until your plant goes into ripening, it's great for bulking, great for bud sizing, right? And up until about ripening, now it's not about red or blue like the camps always say. I think it's a matter of both and when. And then like we're talking about finishing with blues. And then so as Professor Islands was talking about, he's like learning one side of the spectrum so much made me learn the other, Yeah. And so that's kind of what we did that's exactly what we did with the Phoenix and the B series, is putting the UVs and the blues on its own separate channel. And then so now you're able to drop down that whites and those reds, week 8, and then turn up the blues and finish with from 8 to 9. And now it's 2 lights in 1. You're getting those CMH finishes, just like we were talking about back in the day. And you have that same spectrum like bump around, 430 nanometers, and that same bump. You can even get the UV in there now. And let's say first 3 weeks of flower, we have some strains that are stretching really, really hard on us. We can turn the blues up and decrease the internodal spacing.
Double stack, that's probably a fucking...
A dream come true.
Yeah.
So, let's say we have something that was some crazy internode spacing.
Yeah.
And it's just, we're growing a lot of plant and a very little bud. So now we can have these types of controls. Or on the vice versa. Let's say we have a plant that we're dealing with botrytis really, really hard in week 8, week 9. We can turn up the far reds in the first 3 weeks and give it a shade avoidance response and make that plant stretch. So what it is like when the plant is getting the direct sun, or when the plant is getting the UV, it thinks it's in direct sunlight because that's the shortest wavelength. So there's nothing blocking it. There's no canopy, no trees in the way. It thinks it's in direct sun. And so it's going to start getting squatty and shorty and try to create its own self-shading, right? Vice versa, if it's just getting a lot of ratio of far red, a higher ratio of far red is now with that canopy, that plant's thinking, oh, I'm short, and all of that short to mid wavelengths getting eaten by the canopy above me. So I need to start stretching so I can get out of this, right? So now it's about spectral steering and being able to map the data on these strains. And now we're running them, and now we're seeing and finding the right ratios and spectrum tuning, because we're not running the same irrigation cycles as we are from P1s to P3s on every single strain. So why are we feeding it the same exact fucking spectrum?
That's solid.
Makes sense.
So with the spectrum, are you guys seeing like people pulling out more pounds, terpier weed? That's helping them out.
All the above, man. Yeah. So. We're able to, just with under canopies too. So it's not just about like spectral evening or PPFD evening with under canopy. It's about spectral evening, right? And so just under canopies, we've been increasing 20 to 30% on the yield. And then on everything for like quality, cannabinoid, terpene, trichome production, oil production, we're seeing it way higher in anything that we're having someone like with some quality cultivators, like Kay, really pulling some crazy stuff out of Spaceship right now. You see, some of our R&D growers pulling some crazy stuff out of, our Oklahoma facility. So we get these samples and we go travel, and I get to see some shit that's like, hey, we never saw this color expression in these strains before.
Yeah.
We've never seen this strain. It was called. We had to change it from black runts to green runts, and now or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And now we're getting these crazy color expressions.
Most definitely.
And so that's being able to travel and see all the shit. That's the fun part.
That's real. That's real.
You've been to China? You've seen like firsthand? I'm hard, bro.
Nah, bro.
Like you've seen it firsthand, like from start to finish, your own product or no?
Nah, not yet. I need to go out there. I need to go out there. My boss keeps saying he's gonna take me out there, but I'm fucking.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll go out there. I told him I'll only ever go out there if I'm with you.
What's the most you've seen like someone yank with like an under canopy in your guys' overhead?
5.2.
What
And
strain?
was the quality retained?
Yeah, it was some fire.
No
What
shit.
strain
It was
was
some
it?
fire. Oh my God, what is Jordan running? Jordan's running a bunch of stuff. He has a bunch of in-house candies. He has some cool OGs. I think he has in there, and then he has like some cooler old school strains he was running.
Nice.
Oh yeah, he has some sour. I think he has sours in there. He has some sours, some OGs, bro. Yeah, he actually has a really cool library. That guy is another guy that's a really handy cultivator, bro. Shout out to Jordan at JKT, bro. That guy does some crazy data, and he looked me dead in my eyes like I will never flower a plant again without under canopy lights.
Dude,
Like-
it's crucial.
He was like, bro, I went from being able to like barely break even and pay my employees
Yeah.
to like we're eating, we're in the green again. Like
How
thank you.
fast do you see people like get that investment back?
First run, bro. So when this started, we used to do a lot of trials,
Yeah.
right? And you still see companies pushing net 90s and trial system. First of all, it's a horrible business model, right? It's a horrible business model. We're in the cannabis industry, and we know everybody owes each other money, right? But you have to do it, and you have to put some money aside of marketing to get a product out, right? And be like, hey, we are putting our money behind this. We're putting our money where our mouth is. So we would put them out into these places, and by week 6, week 7, we're getting a call back like, "Hey, I want my whole spot."
Hell yeah.
Just yacked out.
Not even they haven't even pulled.
Yeah.
They're just seeing the difference of with them, without them,
Most
or with them
definitely.
versus a competitor, and they're like, "Hey, I want a whole container. Send
Yeah.
them."
That's the first thing I took was just like the color on the whole plant, like
All the way through.
even. Yeah. And just the size of those lowers. It's
And-
crazy to see.
And that goes to Spectrum, Spectrum evening, because like people always say it's like, all right, well, if you talk about under canopy and you just put a par meter right there, you're like, oh, it's only 300, 350.
Yeah.
Okay, but also what's the quality of that spectrum?
Yep.
It's mostly all just red, like we said. It's mostly the long wavelengths. It's going to be orange and red. And then so as soon as we put something in there and we even out, and that's why the whites are so important. You see a lot of our competition pushing a lot of just 80% red, 80% red. We sell a lot of them. It's a very intense spectrum. What I like to say is it will help color, but it's off of that's off of PPFD evening. And let's say your strains already have a genetic that's going to go purple. Now, yeah, that's going to help the color throughout the plant because it's red and it's going to even out through all the way through. But the whites in especially like a HPS room is adding the short to mid wavelengths that aren't in that bulb at all. And so that's going to set the base for like white paper stuff that's going to be out there. But published paper peer review side, we're also working on that stuff too. And so like you see a lot of these companies post like fucking tent data or like skewed data that, their employee or somebody ran.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, I don't even want to see that.
Most definitely.
I don't want to see your 15 paragraphs on Instagram of your tent and your
Athena
tube,
3-0.
bro. And then it's that, and then there's so many questions that I have too about it. Like most of these guys aren't tracking any of that data. Like,
Yeah.
what are you feeding? What's the VPD? What's the VWC? What strain is this? And so that's kind of where you look back and you're like, I got to bring in the guys that actually know the right questions to fucking ask, and then bring in, the suits.
Yeah.
And I sit back and I let them have fun, and I just learn a bunch of shit,
That's real.
So do you guys have like, no names, but like the competition side by side, kind of like comparing your products?
No, I
with
dropped them
theirs?
fucking names.
So honestly, bro, the OG in the underlight canopy game, right? Everyone likes to say it's Craft Farmer. It was a GE. GE dropped one a long time ago called a Rise, right? And it was like our UCL 0 when we first, like one of our old concept models that we had. right? But what happened was Sean and I were actually managing a big facility together, and we R&D'd them. Like this, the idea is not new. Back in the day, people used to drop the single-endeds down there, and they would see a better increase.
Yeah.
Right? And then people started trying to add the strips. And then so we added the strips in our spot, but we added the strips in our spot, but they were like 15 or 30 watts or something.
Yeah.
And we saw
Like
no
150 ppfd. Like 100.
No, it was like 15 ppfd.
Oh, like at the
No, like literally coming off, like probably 15 ppf.
I've seen that setup.
And we tested it there. It kind of did not. It did nothing. It did nothing. And so I was off of it. Excuse me, for a long while. Shout out to Sacramento, how innovative it is. Connected Alien Labs, bro. They R&D'd them a long time ago.
Yeah.
And this is a true story, bro. That a lot of people
Looking like
won't
spaceships
tell.
and shit on
Yeah.
Instagram. You're like, what the
Bro,
fuck is going on in there?
Bro, a lot of people won't tell this story straight up, bro. Like we don't act like we're the innovator of this, so we're not scared to let this story out.
Yeah.
You know? And then so, that's where Faven and Bobby came out of.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what happened there, but somebody beat somebody to the punch, and one of them dropped first out of Faven and Craft Farmer. And just comparing light-wise, product versus product, right? Craft Farmer has a good design. He's aluminum house and glass lens, right? But he has no RJ data cord attached. You have to splice in a speaker wire to be able to do the dimming, right? And so your fire marshal's gonna hate you, your inspector's gonna hate you, and it's just some real Linda stuff.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Like that, like take some audio wire and splice it in, right? And then you have Faven. It's plastic, it's dimmable. They have the RJ data cord attached, but it's plastic and it's really cheap, and it's like everything else on the market. Mm-hmm. It's made by a third-party company, another giant Chinese conglomerate, right?
Flexstar.
Yeah, that's owned by Cinewell, and Cinewell's the mama, right? And Cinewell owns Vivosa and Amazon, all these things,
Yeah.
right? And then you have us that we're kind of like guerrilla warfare in it, bro. Like we lock down our own manufacturer. They are like, we're their nut every month.
Yeah.
They only make our lights. We own our molds for our plastic, our stainless steel. Like they can only make our shit. And so that's a cool part. And then my boss is from there, you know? So he has that locked down. And then one of our owners is just sitting there full time, just like making sure that QC is done right. So it doesn't even leave China without being QC'd and tested. And everybody says, oh, our lights are on and tested before it gets sent out of China and yada, yada, yada. It's like, well, do you really know that?
Yeah.
You know?
It's like dropping a pheno without even running it.
Bro, and then I like to say it's like going and buying some bags from your boy, but it's like some random ass, like, I kind of know you. Like, oh, all right, how much for a box?
Yeah.
Right? Versus your brother coming to you, hey, how much for a box? Two different prices.
Yeah.
Every time.
Like, to be honest, you're my boy, but if you ask me for a box and Sean asked me for a box, it'd be two different prices.
Most definitely.
And so that's how I like to say it is with lights. You know, it's like, bro, these are guys, and you've seen these other companies that didn't have relationships with their warehouses, with their manufacturers, with their QC. That shit's being sent out, bad drivers, bad diodes, bad this, bad that, you know? And we actually get to have, hands on and eyes on that thing.
I've seen the results. The Grow Pros next to some of the other competition. I won't drop names, but
Yeah,
we did. The Grow Pros did. I want to say it was like a 0.4 more a light.
Yeah. We did see a bigger increase on those ones.
Bro, there's and those other guys, bro, like my clients will call me and they'll be like, yo, you gave me that trial. They're like, I wasn't supposed to trial any other lights next to him. And that's like part of their deal. And I'm like, how is this science? Like, how is this a trial?
Most definitely.
How did I give you some lights? And you're like, just don't trial them against any of our competition.
Yeah.
That right there would be like, I'd be like, nah, I'm good off your product, bro.
Yeah.
You know, that
Telling
right there.
somebody what to do, basically.
Don't
Trying to
trial
control
my-
me already.
Personally, my
crazy.
favorite products in the cannabis industry are something that another cultivator recommended to me. Like,
Or cultivators by cultivators.
exactly.
Bro, and I've been on that side. Like I tell my bosses, like I've been on that side where I've had to pitch products, like in these big CEO meetings and CFO meetings. Like, hey, and I've gotten ideas kicked down and dot. Where's the date? Where's this? Where's that?
Yeah.
And so now before we drop a product, like I make sure, like, hey, we have to have these answers because this is what I would ask, you know?
Come with the data to back it up.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, you want to tell us about a smoky situation you've had? It can be anything. It can be like a high moment.
the
It can be
question.
just
It's the
anything
question.
crazy in
Yeah,
the
man.
cannabis world.
Smoky situation. Man, me and this cowboy right here got a lot. We got letters for houses because we were over wattage with too many plants back in the day. We've gotten notices on the hill saying, bro, we got shook down. We got shook down on Berry Creek. We were on a farm. They pull up, and this is like back when, you know, it's like right before, probably 2017, right before it passes the first year. They pull up, and they're looking at all the plants, and one of the guys grabs some colas, and he says, hey, bro, this looks better than the one down the hill. To his partner. Partner's like, yeah, this looks good. Yeah, I says, hey, how many weeks do you have left? I'm like, oh, man, just a couple weeks. I'm like looking at him like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man. Well, shit, court isn't until 2 weeks. It's this much a day before court, this much once you hit court.
Damn.
What I would do is I would harvest this, take it down the hill, process it, sell it, and just pay the fine, bro.
Damn.
I'm looking at him like,
Oh, okay.
He gave you some free game.
I'm like, bro, no, for sure, bro. We were gonna do that anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm
break me off like a couple
Facts.
points.
Yeah.
Facts.
That was these colas right here.
I'm looking
That
at
was the next part. That information wasn't free game at all.
It actually cost us. They'll come a day, but you know.
Yeah, man. So we've had some real smoky situations, bro, back in the day. Real cannabis cowboys, bro. Really
Where the name
just
comes from.
just being the young homies, bro. We were always the little cousins, right? Our big cousins had everything at the time. You know, grows everywhere, still do, spots everywhere. And we were just hey, go grab this. Hey, go run to Green Thumb and go, you know, as
Go
trap.
de-leaf all those rooms
Yeah.
today.
All the rooms and all the spots and all different parts of SAC today. You know, so
You're fully committed. You're like, fuck it, we there.
bro, we were 10 toes in, young, running. Bro, we used to have, we got in an accident because I had too much CO2 in the car one day.
Yeah, coming over the overpass, bro, on a
With
rainy
some-
day.
with
I
some-
feel dizzy.
With some
feel
bald
dizzy.
ass tires, bro, and a scraper that my cousin gave
CO2
me.
tanks in the trunk, just all that weight.
Whole back seat filled with soil, bags.
Damn.
Just, bro, it was like a 2 mile an hour just slide down the hill into another car.
Oh man.
It's crazy to see where the industry has gone, man. And honestly, it's just like about meeting amazing people, bro. Like, and just keeping the community real, bro. Like on some, you know, to keep it real, bro. It's like traveling this country, bro. I've made like real lifelong friends, bro, in this community that like, if we were sitting in a bar type shit, like we would probably never talk, like from two different worlds, you know. And from suits all the way down, you know, all the way down to some guy in the bar you would never think, you know, you talk to. But, man, I've made some crazy friends in this industry, bro, and connected some big dots.
That's right.
That's not good.
You want to tell the people where they can find you at, how they can tap in with you?
Yeah, man. Instagram, Benchplug Benny, Grow Pro Solutions. We got YouTube, dropping a bunch of products and keeping them coming, man.
That's right.
What about you, my guy? What about the cowboy?
Just you can find me at Instagram at CannabisCowboy916.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Heavy on the
my way.
916. Come get right. Come tap in.
We got a few minutes left. Like, what do you got on the horizon right now? Like, what you got planned?
This year, we are looking to drop a 4-channel overhead light, completely spectrally controllable. We're going to have the UVs and the blues broken up on channels. We're going to have the whites broken up, the deep reds, and the far reds, right? So think of it like a mixing board, you know, and you're going to be able to completely find your ratios per your strains and dial them in. Of course, we're going to have like optimal presets of stuff that we already like recommend to know that are like our other fixed spectrum lights, but then you'll be able to completely tune them how you want. And not just any like cookie cutter, like here's a veg, here's a transition, here's a flower. We're going to have some really dynamic stuff that's coming to drop. And with real papers behind them.
You need a controller for all this, right?
Yeah. So that's back to that. No, so like right now our controller, it can control our overhead light, our 4-channel, which we have. And then so that can do that no problem. Plus we can control our under canopies. So our under canopies are dual channel. Our overhead is 4. So we'll be able to do them all.
We appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah.
This has been
I appreciate you guys.
solid
man.
ass episode. I feel like we got a lot of game. We got a lot of information. I mean, shit, I learned something
a
just
lot.
being here, dude. Like that's what we want to get out of this, is just bring people on from the industry, like with the passion for the plant. We can just connect, nerd out, and fucking talk like
yeah.
it's natural, bro.
Man, can't wait to come back, bro. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, first of many.
The
First of
fact
many,
that
for
you
sure.
flew out, bro, just means a lot. Like,
Next
oh,
day.
Yeah,
Like
next day.
Bro,
No
speedy
problem.
with it.
Yeah. I was like, I don't even know, bro, and I already like him, bro. Yeah, I flew out.
I got plenty of frequent flyer miles, bro.
Oh,
I'll come
hell
spend them
yeah.
on you guys anytime.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
We appreciate it, bro.
Hey, thank you guys.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. Another killer episode.